Welcome back to Silent Medicine, where science meets spirit and where healing is allowed to be quiet, honest, and rooted in inner authority. I am Dr. Nnenna, clinical psychologist, integrative medicine doctor, and someone who believes your environment is never neutral. Your space is always communicating with your nervous system. And more often than we realize, the outer environment mirrors the inner world. Did you know that? Because there was a time in my life when I had no idea how connected the outer environment is to the nervous system. Somewhere along my journey, I learned something simple but profound. Our outer environments often reflect our inner state. When you begin clearing, cleaning, restoring, or reorganizing your outer space, it can have a real effect on how you feel internally. Sometimes more than we expect. So today, I would like us to talk about how to create a healing environment at home. Not in a perfect way, but in a realistic, practical way. Because even the small shifts, a corner, a chair, a light ritual, can change how your body holds itself and how safe your system feels. And when it comes to inner regulation, a sense of safety is everything. A lot of people try to heal through effort, through discipline, through doing the right things. But healing also depends on what you are soaking in. Light, sound, screens, clutter, the pace of your home, the emotional energy in the room, even the way you move through your space, how you furnish your home, the items you keep around you, the way you love on your home, all contribute to the energy that fills your outer environment. Your nervous system is constantly asking, is it safe to soften here? Is it safe to rest here? Is it safe to digest here? And if the environment is loud and feels unsafe, be it visually, emotionally, energetically, the body stays in readiness, in high alert. Not because you're broken, but because you're responding. So today, I want to offer a gentle reframe. Your home doesn't have to be perfect to be a healing space. It just needs a little more coherence. And coherence simply means fewer mixed signals. It means your inner yes matches your outer yes. Your inner no matches your outer no. And when something is not yet, it is allowed to remain not yet. Without forcing yourself into a yes you do not truly mean. This applies to what you bring into your outer environment. What you permit, what you tolerate, and what you engage with, whether in your home, among friends, at work, or out in the wider world. Now, let's explore inputs. Some common inputs the nervous system is constantly reading in our environment. The first is light. Harsh overhead lighting, bright blue light at night, screens late into the evening. They can keep your system feeling awake, even when you want to wind down. Then we have sound. Constant noise, background TV, multiple streams of audio. It can make your body feel like it's always monitoring. Next, clutter and visual noise. This one is subtle, but it has a very real impact. Clutter can create a quiet sense of unfinishedness, like your system is still on duty. And then, screens and speed, fast content, rapid scrolling, constant notifications. It trains the nervous system to stay in urgency mode. And for children who are still developing their nervous systems, a high stimulation environment can shape attention, sleep, and emotional regulation in very noticeable ways. And I want to say something important. None of this is meant to guilt trip you. This is about awareness, self-awareness, and consciousness. Because you cannot calm a system you keep overstimulating. Not because you're failing, but because the input is often louder than the intention. You know how when you want to stop eating chocolate, one of the first things you have to do is stop surrounding yourself with it. Stop bringing it into your space. And most of the time, at least in my experience, and perhaps in yours too, the input rather than the intention wins. So the question becomes, what are you soaking in all day long? Now, I would like us to look at aesthetics versus nervous system coherence. Some people hear healing home and immediately imagine expensive upgrades. Oh no, that's not what I mean. I'm talking about creating a space that tells your body, you can exhale here, at last, every day. A space that supports homeostatic balance, your body's natural rhythm of regulation, and return to center, to balance. And the good news is, you can do this even if you can't change the whole house. Sometimes, it's not the whole home, it's one small portion of it, or a few daily practices that change the signal your body receives. You can start with one zone or even one practice. Here's a practice I love. So choose one zone in your home. It can be a chair, a corner, a small table, even the side of your bed. And give this space one intention. This is where my nervous system gets to downshift. Then choose 3 simple signals. So the first one could be the light signal, like a warm lamp, dimmy or dimmer lighting, or even one candle in the evening. Next, we have sound signal, which could be quiet, nature sounds, or low, steady music, not stimulating at all. Third, we have the body signal, which could be a blanket, a pillow, feet on the ground, hand on chest or belly. And the fourth signal can be a ritual, a practice your body begins to associate with downshifting. For example, writing a few lines in a gratitude journal, or restorative yoga, tai chi, or qigong. Spending 15 to 30 minutes in a far infrared sauna, paired with slow breathing, if you have one at home. Or lying on an infrared mat for about 30 minutes at a low to moderate setting, if you have that at home as well. That's it. You are building a cue that tells the body, we are safe enough to soften now. And I want to be clear. This isn't just decoration or something I'm saying because it sounds nice. This is conditioning. Some of you may remember classical conditioning or may have heard about it, like Pavlov's experiment, where dogs learned to associate a bell with food and eventually began to salivate at the sound of the bell, even before the food arrived. In a similar way, when you repeatedly pair your Zen zone with downshifting, or your ritual with downshifting, your nervous system begins to learn the association. So over time, simply entering that space or beginning that ritual can start to signal your body automatically. We are allowed to calm down now. You've probably heard the usual advice. No caffeine late, keep the room dark, go to bed at a consistent time. That's fine. But I want to go beyond sleep hygiene into what I call sleep permission. Because the biggest issue for many people is not a mattress. It's that the nervous system doesn't believe it's safe to fully power down. So here are a few beyond the norm practices. Give your body a closing ritual. Not a productivity ritual, but a nervous system ritual. For example, dim lights 60 to 90 minutes before sleep. Reduce overhead lighting. Lower the speed of your content. Choose one slow activity, like showering, drinking tea, reading, maybe even stretching. Now let's look at removing micro alerts. Even small things can keep the body vigilant, like the buzzing phone, loud notifications, the bright clock face, TV as background noise. I invite you to try this. Put your phone outside the bedroom or across the room. Put on your do not disturb sign. Put on a calmer alarm sound. Or make your room a darker sleeping space. You could also create a soft landing for the mind. If your mind races, don't fight it. Give it a container. Keep a small notebook nearby and write. What am I carrying? What can wait? What am I grateful for? 3 lines only are enough. Not a journal marathon. Then we need to consider temperature and texture. Sometimes the body needs one simple sensory cue. A cool room. Could be a heavier blanket. Soft socks. Consistent scent, like lavender, if you like that. The body loves consistency. Consistency becomes safety. Now let's bring this into eating, because eating is one of the most direct ways we communicate with the nervous system. If the nervous system is in urgency, digestion can feel harder, not as a moral failure, but as physiology. So mindful eating isn't only about chewing more. It's about creating conditions where the body can shift into rest and digest. Here are a few home-based practices. 1. Create a no-content meal once a day or once a week. No phone, no scrolling, No high stimulation audio. Just one meal where the body gets to be present fully. 2. Begin with a 10-second downshift. Before the first bite, place both feet on the ground. Relax your jaw. Exhale slowly once. Soften your shoulders. 10 seconds. That's enough to begin shifting your state. 3. Reduce sensory chaos during meals. If you can, lower harsh lighting, lower noise, sit down, eat at a slower pace. It doesn't have to be perfect, just gentler. 4. A simple closing cue. When you finish eating, pause for one breath. Put your hand on your belly and internally say, "We are done now." This tells the body there's no urgency needed. These aren't rules, they are signals. And signals are how the nervous system learns. Next, let's talk about tools that can make or that can help with downshifting. Yes, tools can help. Warm lighting, air quality support, calming sound, even certain wellness tools. But a deep shift is not the object. It's the way you inhabit your space. Because you can live in a beautiful home and still feel unsafe in your body. And you can live in a small space and create coherence through presence. Ask yourself, do I rush everywhere at home? Do I eat standing? Do I scroll while I rest? Do I treat my home like a workspace only? Healing sometimes begins when you start moving through your home differently, as if you belong there, as if you're allowed to be supported. Now I invite you to your practice for this week. Choose one small corner or chair. For 2 minutes a day, dim the light, lower the sound. Put your feet on the ground and take 3 slow breaths. Then look around and name 3 things you see. And say quietly, "This is my downshift space." Do it daily for 1 week. Your nervous system learns through repetition, not intensity. I also invite you to reflect on these questions. What is my home that helps me feel regulated? And what in my home feels activating. If I could change only one input, be it light, sound, clutter, screens, what will it be? What will it look like to create one zone that supports my nervous system? How do I want to feel in my home, especially in the evening? And what is one meal this week I can eat with less stimulation? Thank you for spending this quiet time with me today. If something in this episode touched a nerve in a good way, or helped you feel a little less confused or overwhelmed by it all, you might share it with someone whose body has also been carrying a lot in silence. Also, if this episode met you gently, you can listen to the rest of Silent Medicine at silentmedicine.com/podcast. You can find more calm, practical reflections at silentmedicine.com. And if you'd like gentle support about once a week, you're welcome to join the Silent Medicine newsletter there as well. A gentle reminder before we close. This podcast is educational only. It isn't for medical or psychological advice, and it doesn't replace working with qualified professionals who know you and your history. Until next time, may your space become a little more coherent, and may your body feel that it can exhale. May you also keep listening to the healer within. Take care.